It's the start of a new season. Let's draw the line under last year and see if we can try and restore some pride to this team in the Championship. Hey guys, and welcome to episode 34 of my Bristol Rovers FM20 playthrough. My name is James, and on today's episode we have a summary of our transfer window back down in the Championship, plus we have all the latest news from the summer, and also we have the first game of the season away at QPR. So kicking off first with the news, it has been quite an eventful summer. If we look at the finances, we are in a very healthy place, having dropped out of the Premier League. I believe we had around £41 million in parachute payments, which, if you look at the projection, is going to keep us happy for many years to come. We're also making a profit every month at the moment, which is really, really good. And that allowed us to be able to have, I believe it was originally around, and even though it says originally 8.62 million, it was originally around £10 million we had in terms of transfer budget. Some of that was then moved into wage budget. But as you can see, we're currently spending about 90 grand less than our current wage budget. So we have a fair bit to be able to bring in a few additional players, because we have another week of the transfer window left. And so, but I'll be getting onto that a little bit later on. So in terms of ongoings, over the summer we've had the youth facilities improved. That's currently ongoing and will be finished in September. We've had the youth recruitment improved, so more money has been pumped into that. That was completed over the summer as well. And also we've had an increase in our junior coaching budget. These three combined hopefully means that we will not only be recruiting better players and allowing these better players to come into our under-18s, but then training them up to a higher level when they do get into up to that level, which is really, really good. And hopefully, along with the financial budget, shines a positive path for the club to move forward on. Other than that, the key things over the summer were, of course, the transfers, so we will now get into those. So starting with the outs, we have had a bit of a fire sale over the summer, really trying to get rid of some of the additional players that weren't going to be good enough to play for us. They weren't good enough last season, never mind this season, and I felt an opportunity to cash in was going to be warranted. The first was Matt Ritchie. Now, I hadn't originally planned to get rid of him, but there was talk of teams possibly coming in to bid for him. I think this was actually this offer came in from San Jose just before the end of last season. They came in and offered £275,000 for him. I snapped their hand off. He came in with us on a free. He played 5 games all season, didn't do very much. Since he's left, there's actually been talks in the press around the fact that he was apparently disruptive at the club. I didn't realise this at first. Nothing came up to say this happened, but normally the in-game press is pretty good at stuff like that. So it was a double win. The fact we managed to get some money for a player that came in on free and didn't really play for us, but also the fact that we have cleared a troublemaker from the locker room. Next one was Njonjo. You'll see a theme with a number of these players who had promise at the beginning, over the last couple of years haven't really developed as well as they could, so we've cashed in while we had the opportunity. Njonjo ended up being, I think it was a 3-star in the end potential ability, only 1.5-star current. But Boston came in, offered £275,000 for him. I think there was a few teams that came in for him, but they were the best offer, so he's gone there. Ben Winterbottom has gone to Birmingham for £66,000. James Talbot, another backup goalkeeper, has gone for £155,000. We've then got Alabiosi, went for £58,000. George Thomas, who was a backup striker, went for £210,000. Emmanuel Adebayi went for £130,000 to Ipswich. And finally, Odebayo went to Mansfield for £120,000. So the fact we got £1.3 million for all those players, these were players that were in and around the squad, but not really playing. Very few appearances between them. They were good when we were down in League One, but as soon as we made the jump up, I think they began to struggle. So the great fact we managed to get cash in on that. As you can see on the outs, we've actually only spent currently £2.2 million. Obviously, half of that has been offset with the £1.3 million that's come in from sales of players. And first, we will start with one of the more exciting prospects to now be at the club. From Southampton, costing £675,000. We have Bigger Omiyanga, who is a 17-year-old English central midfielder. Now, I know we have a few central midfielders at the club already. However, he's come in as a very exciting youngster to replace a lot of the youngsters that have now left. Players like Njonjo, Adebayi, who were all promising central midfielders that never really came to anything. So Biggar comes in at 1.5-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. He's still very rough around the edges, isn't ready for the first team squad yet. But he comes in from Southampton's youth setup. Southampton, obviously, who have a fairly well-established youth recruitment and youth setup. So he definitely comes with a good reputation. Second, and this is probably going to be the only really hit or miss transfer, Jordan Stokes has come in, 16-year-old attacking right winger. He has come in for the fee of £1.5 million from West Ham. This may be a little bit of a bust. He does have 4-star potential ability. He actually had 5-star when we originally scouted him, but he came in and his scout rating has dropped and has not increased since we have now dropped down into the Championship. So I think I've put him into a mentoring group. We'll see how he develops. I'll keep him in the first team squad, and we'll see if he can improve. And then last but not least, and is definitely not the last transfer to come in over the summer, we have Colin Gallagher, who came in on a pre-contract. We signed him just before his contract ran out, and he agreed terms with us. So he comes in on a free. This has got to be the best transfer of the summer. He comes in from Chelsea, already valued at £12 million. He's come in on a 4-year contract, 3.5-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. Great stamina, work rate, passing, overall mentals are pretty good for his age, and he's still got room to develop as well. He comes in as one of our starting central midfielders. As you can see, he's played 5 friendlies so far, 1 assist, but has a 7.18 average rating, and I feel he is going to be a star for us this season. So that is all the transfers. Also, I tried to bring in, I brought in as many free trialists as I could to make sure that we try and pick the best of the bunch. In terms of player trials, as you can see, there was a horde of players that came in, including players such as Jamie Vardy, Alexis Sanchez, Scott Sinclair. We had a range of players come in, some really well-established Premier League names. Vardy was the closest one that we thought to bring in. However, he wasn't quite good enough. He has some key attributes that we could have worked with, but being the fact we have Clark Harris and we have 1 or 2 backup strikers as well, and at 35 years old, I didn't want to take the risk. I didn't even attempt to offer him a contract. I would already guess that he would wanted quite a high contract anyway, with his wage demands being 21,000 to 27,000. I just couldn't justify that on a player of that age. And then finally, in terms of released players, Sammy retired in the season. Harries, Daly, Tomlinson and Biss have all left. All we've tried to find clubs for as their contracts ran out, but no clubs were interested, so they have left. Not sure if any of them have found clubs yet. Harries is now at Peterborough. Daly is now at Oxford. Tomlinson has found a place at Sutton. And Biss is now in the Fleetwood under-23. So great to see that all those players have managed to find new homes. One final piece of news before we go into the match for today's episode. We do have, I expect, maybe 1, possibly 2 more transfers to come in by the end of the transfer window. We've got a couple of extra trialists that are coming in. However, this is going to be the key one for me. Ryan Nyambe is a 24-year-old Namibian right back. Now, we do have Carrera. However, with our left-back position being a little bit weak at the moment, with only Holmes Dennis and Connolly being our left-back options, I really would prefer Carrera to play at left-back. And so I managed to come across this guy who was a 93 scout rating, who has a 3.5 to 4-star current ability, a 4.5 to 5-star potential ability. We have offered, I believe it's £5 million for him. Yeah, we've offered £5 million for him, but Watford have come in for him as well. We've offered him a good contract. Hopefully he accepts that. And if he comes in, he will be our starting right back. So he is one option. One final transfer that I'll be looking to bring in, which I think will finish off our team quite nicely, is goalkeeper. Now, as you can see, I've got 3-star on there, and we've got no 3-star goalkeeper. So if I drop it down to 2-star, we have Jacola, who appears to be declining. His physicals have gone off a cliff, and so he's likely to be our backup this season, with Trafford stepping in to be our main goalkeeper. But as we have sold our 2 other backup goalkeepers, leaving only youth prospects, I'd like to bring in a good goalkeeper. I've got a couple of them being scouted, one particular from Leeds. I can't quite remember his name, but I'll give you an update if I get anything through on that. So hopefully we'll be bringing a starting goalkeeper for Trafford to be able to sit as backup for, but he will be starting the season as our main goalkeeper. So finally, before we get into the first game of the season, let's look at the season preview. Now, we are expected to be mid-table. The board are actually looking for upper half. So I think if we finish in 12th, that should just about fit that minimum requirement. We have a player in the Media Dream starting 11. Arzani is obviously going to be a key player. It is fantastic that so far we have not had any offers for him at all, touch wood, and so he is going to be with us for this season at the very least, and hopefully will help us stay as an established championship side. The only other key player we've got on here, we scroll down, is Jack Rolls, who is going to be our starting central midfielder alongside Gallagher, and so hopefully they will be quite a formidable central midfield partnership. So we go into the start of the season against QPR, who've just been promoted, freshly promoted out of League One. They are currently tipped to be relegated immediately. So fingers crossed we can make our mark in our first game of the season. One final little piece of news we had just as the season started was a news article stating the fact that we have never actually won our opening game of the season. So I'd really, really like to break that duck. I think I remember saying exactly the same thing at the start of last season. Sadly, we know how that turned out. But I think we're giving ourselves the best chance that we can to establish ourselves in this league. And this is the team that's going to be going out there to try and get that first game of the season win. We have Trafford in goal, a back four of Connolly, Long, Kilgore and Hoole, who currently comes in for Korea, who is sadly out injured at the moment, but should be back for our next match of the season. We have Rolls and Gallagher in central midfield, Barrett, Bailey and Arzani across the attacking 3, and then Clark Harris as per usual up front. We're going to season playing a tiki-taka attacking formation. We have had most success over the summer with this, winning a number of quite key friendlies with this formation. We've tried a couple of others, but this is going to be the main one, I think, for us this season. We do have a very exciting youngster as a defensive midfielder. We also still have Ollie Clark at the club. So if we do want to switch formation, we have the players to be able to step in and do that. Let's kick off this season with a positive. Let's get the first win in the first game and not have to wait till the 12th game or whatever it was last season. And let's hopefully get, for the first time in this save, get a win in the first game of the season. Right, we had the first highlight on 18 minutes. QPR with the throw-in in their half. Looking to bring it out from defence. Passing it across. Trying to push it out wide, but Hall manages to win the ball back to Gallagher. To Arzani, who looks to bring it forward. Comes in inverted winger roll into the penalty area. Takes a shot, but his shot is weak and goes wide of the post. Right, we have a second highlight here. There's a bit of a scramble for the ball, but Hall manages to come away with it. Goes back to Kilgore. Kilgore goes across to his defensive partner, Long. Out to the other side to Connolly. Back to Long. Long looks for a big ball forward to Clark Harris in the penalty area. He has tackled it, but Barrett managed to collect the ball to the back post. Arzani, and he is in. 26 minutes on the clock. Arzani gets his first of the season, our first of the season. And in the first game of the season, we are now Bristol Rovers 1, QPR 0. And that is the start that we really wanted. I thought the opportunity had gone when Clark Harris lost the ball. But Barrett manages to bring it back across. Arzani nipping in on that right-hand side and nods it in for our hopefully first goal of the game. Half-time and what was quite a tentative first half. We obviously have made the breakthrough and I've gone 1-0 up, but that was basically it for that first half. I'm going to say they've played well. There's still room for improvement. I don't want to get negative, especially as we're winning at the moment. Right, Gallagher with the free kick. awful free kick hits the wall. I think it hit the wall, the player's feet in the wall. Goes back to Connolly, who goes all the way back to the goalkeeper, back to Trafford for safety. And we'll look now to play it out from the back. Trafford with the ball out wide to Connolly. Connolly in a little bit of space, but he is now being pressed. Pushes it forward to Barrett. Barrett looks to bring it inside. Running at the defence. Puts the cross in. Tries to get to Arzani, but QPR managed to clear it as far as Ote. Ote looks to bring it forward. Manages to turn our defenders. Takes a shot from outside the penalty area. Quite a shot and a bit of zip on it. However, it does go wide of the post. And the highlight carries on with Trafford with the goal kick. To Barrett. To Connolly. Connolly hasn't got anywhere to go, so has to go back to Long. Long pushing it forward again to Barrett. Into Bailey. Nice 1-2s here to Rolls. Back out to Connolly. Keeping possession nicely. Back to Rolls again. Then back to Connolly. Playing nice triangles into the penalty area. Can Connolly get a cross in? He cannot. He loses the ball, but he manages to win the ball back again. Back in the centre to Clark Harris. Clark Harris with the header. With his first goal of the season. Making it Bristol Rovers 2, QPR 0 on the 79th minute. 49th minute. I'm wishing the game away at this point. But that is a great start. We have dominated this match. And hopefully we can see things out from here. However, we do have a highlight straight from the kickoff. QPR with the big ball forward. Looking for Ote. For Adams, out wide for Samba. Are QPR going to hit back immediately into the penalty area? Tackled though by Kilgore, brilliantly tackled, and then Arzani brings the ball away. Massive ball forward to Clark Harris. Can he make it 3? Yes, he can! What a counter-attack by Bristol Rovers. Kilgore manages to win the tackle, puts it to Arzani. Arzani with a fantastic ball forward to Clark Harris running through the defence. Through one-on-one with the keeper. Arzani from near our own penalty area. Fantastic. What an assist. Clark Harris just outside the penalty area. Smashes it into the bottom corner. And we cruise now 3-0 up. And surely this is now 3 points for us today. And our first win in a first game of the season in this save. Right, 70 minutes on the clock. We have a throw-in. Connolly with the ball to Rolls. Back to Rolls again. Looking in the centre for Clark Harris, but they can't find him. So Gallagher takes a shot, hits the post. It was almost 4. What a shot by Gallagher. And what a performance by us. I know this is a team that have just been promoted, but really making a stamp here. Barrett with the corner doesn't really much find one of our players. So the keeper managed to clear it. Connolly, I think he's already on a booking, isn't he? No, he's not. Luckily, I said that was a reckless tackle, completely unnecessary. Right, I think it's time to make a couple of substitutions. Halls is exhausted, but unfortunately I don't have anyone else to bring on for him. I may have to push. Let's push Kilgore out wide. Let's drop Kilgore back to more of a supporting role. And let's bring on Lockyer in replace of him. Bailey hasn't really shown up today, unfortunately. He's not played badly, but I don't think he's really done much. So let's bring on the youngster Smith for a bit of run around, put him as an advanced playmaker. Right, it's just less than 10 minutes to go on the clock. Kilgore has received a knock, so we may have to, unfortunately, look to bring him off as well. But QPR have a throw in here. Ball into the centre to Dobra in masses of space. Lucky Trafford manages to make the save. He was not being marked at all. And Trafford manages to keep his clean sheet. Ball into the centre with the corner, but Arzani manages to clear it. Only as far as Adams, though. Can Adams put the cross back in? He cannot. We managed to block it. And Clark Harris collects the loose ball. Looks to bring it forward. Can we produce another counter-attack? But there's nobody in the centre at the moment. He does, though, manage to find Rolls. Adams tackles him, though, and it is going to be a free kick. Presumably Gallagher to take the free kick, as he did in the first half. Gallagher, take the free kick. Oh, so it was on target, but Blackman manages to save it. And unfortunately, it stays at 3-0. Right, I'm going to make a final substitution. Kilgore is struggling. So for the final couple of minutes, I'm going to bring on Holmes Dennis to play out wide. He is not, by any stretch of imagination, a right back. He is a left back. However, what I'm going to do is put him on an inverted wing back and switch Arzani to a winger so they don't collide. Hopefully he'll better see out injury time. There we have it. Bristol Rovers 3, QPR 0 in our first game of the season. We finally win an opening fixture. And what a win it was, 3-0. As I said during the match, obviously it was only against a team that have just been freshly promoted. They're expected to be relegated, but that's the type of teams we really need to be beating. And what a statement to be able to hopefully leave last season's misery in the dust, and hopefully we can establish ourselves now in the Championship. I'd love for us to be in this position, obviously at the end of the season. I don't think we will be. I'll happily take, I think I'd aim for top 10. And probably just outside the playoffs. If we can be in that kind of position, I will see that as a fantastic result. Right, I'm now going to run through to the end of the transfer window, see if we have any more last-minute dealings that are going to come in, and I'll update you once the window closes. Right, that's it. The transfer window has shut. We didn't have any more transfers in or out for that final week. In all honesty, we tried, but we couldn't bring anyone in. The more that we wanted, other than what we'd announced already. I'm not sure if we can still got any of the active deals. So there's a few that came in on deadline day, people wanting our players. But if I go into our scouted players, so Daniel Iverson was the goalkeeper that I was after. We had 2 or 3 £3 million bids for him accepted. He just refused all contract details. I even brought in my director of football to try and do it, and he just rejected. So he had absolutely no interest in coming down to us. We could have given him far more than four grand a week, but for some reason, maybe our reputation isn't high enough. He couldn't warrant the change in club, I suppose, and the drop down into the Championship as well. In terms of right backs, we also had, remember, the right back Ryan Iambe. He in the end went to Watford. He was on more money than we were offering him. We were offering about 22. They gave him 26.5, so I can understand going there. This one stings a little bit more because he could have been a fantastic player, and he actually wanted to come to us, but I can understand that maybe we didn't quite have the budget at the time to be able to provide that. Looking back on it, maybe I should have gone in and given him a slightly higher wage, but you obviously don't know because you don't know what the other teams are going to be bidding for. Other than that, tried a couple of other right backs, a couple of the left backs, maybe try and switch them around. Nothing more came in, and I wasn't necessarily going to splurge a lot of money on a risk or a player that wasn't scouted correctly. We do still have some trialists at the club, so they're going to come in. There's a couple which seem to have some decent potential, and so I'll definitely be taking a look at those. But this is then the team that is going to be going into this season. So if I go up to 3-star, remove trialists. So we've got Johnson Clark Harris is the only one up front. But if we do drop it down, we've got Kieran Phillips as well. So we've got Barrett, Lumeka, Janelli and Walker on the left. We've got Arzani, Lumeka, Janelli and Walker as a backup on the right if we do need. Obviously we can play Arzani, but mainly we're going to play Odin Bailey in the middle with Rolls, Barrett and Smith all able to play in that area as well. More likely it'll be Bailey and Smith will be the two in the attacking midfield role. Our two key players for central midfield are going to be Rolls and Gallagher, with Bialis as the backup. We've then got Clark and a selection of youngsters as well who can come in if we so need. On the left, Connolly, for the time being, is going to be our starting left back. He has got some really good potential, has ability to be a Premier League level left back, so maybe giving him the opportunity to be thrust into the first team will help him develop at pace. We've then got Correa and Holmes who can play backup on that left hand side, but Correa is going to be our main right back. We then haul his back up, and then centre we've got Kilgore and Long as it was last season, as well as our central midfield partnership with Lockyer and Keenan backing them up. And then finally, we've got Jacola and Trafford. Trafford is going to be our main goalkeeper. If we're not going to have a strong goalkeeper, I'd rather have one that's going to be able to develop. As I said, Jacola is probably going to struggle. I think his physicals, in particular, are diminishing quite rapidly. And I think once his contract runs out, there's probably little chance of us really renewing it and either let him on or maybe actually is he looking to become a staff member. He is looking to become a staff member. He's not a very good goalkeeping coach. That's a shame. But yeah, so that will be so Trafford will be our goalkeeper for the start of this season. Well, we had a fairly productive transfer window. I think we're going into the league with a in a strong position. We've managed to get a first win in the league in the first game of the season for the first time in this save. That was a lot of firsts in that phrase. But if you enjoyed that, please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified of brand new FM20 videos, usually every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 5 p.m. And thank you very much for watching.